Let's talk about the Tesla Model Y and give you what I would think to be the ultimate Tesla Model Y buyer's guide for the 2026 model of the new Juniper refresh. I'll give you from A to Z what options to maybe consider, all the different price points. Is full self driving worth it as a quick note, and also what's to come with incentives and much more. So you might be wondering right now, you might be interested in trying to buy a brand new Tesla Model Y, and you're wondering, is it the best time? Is 1.99% good? Is it great financing? Which trim should you actually get? And all the other incentives that you might be missing about, like is the lease payment good? There's a lot of different things that you need to know about, and also timing as well. So the first thing here is this: there is inventory vehicles. And so when you land on Tesla's page right now, you could hit the order button and try and configure it. But that's a good reference point to see what type of options that are out there that might be worth it or not. And if we take a look at it, of course, we click the Model 3. If we take a look at the Model Y, there's really only two different options. And the first thing is, before you make any sort of deposit, purchase, or reservation or anything, don't forget to use a Tesla referral code, just like the one down below in the description, so you can get 3 months of full self-driving added to your Tesla vehicle. Full self-driving is an $8,000 package, so that if you can get it for 3 months and test it out, I would definitely recommend that first. So the first thing is, there's a long-range rear-wheel drive and a long-range all-wheel drive. If the quick TLDR from this, at this point, if you're paying cash, then the rear wheel drive could make sense as a better deal. If you're leasing, then really you shouldn't be leasing. It's not a good deal, which I'll show you in just a second. But if you're financing, all wheel drive is the move right now, because you get 1.99% financing on the all wheel drive. Rear wheel drive, with only the back wheels spin for propulsion, I guess, is going to be a 5.49% interest rate. If you're stuck on trying to buy the cheaper version and you still need to finance, I mean, there are plenty of credit unions, outside banks, outside financing. There's a list of credit unions that you can get from our Tesla buying guide down below in the description that all have a better interest rate than 5.49%. And so the big thing before any of this, if you're worried if you're going to get approved, the quick synopsis on that is you got to get good income, like 1-for-1. So if you're looking to buy a Tesla Model Y, that's a $50K purchase right before the tax credit, you are going to at least need to make 1-to-1. Not financial advice, but that's what you can get to get approved. And you're going to need 10 to 20% down. If you want the 1.99% financing on the all-wheel drive, you're going to need 15% down. 15% down is about $10,000 with taxes and fees and everything. So the big two things couple things or features between the two of the Model Ys that are out there, like rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive, is really just range, and of course the rear propulsion of the long-range rear-wheel drive. So if you live in states like California, Texas, Florida, where there really isn't too much inclement weather, maybe not even rain, then you could be okay with a rear-wheel drive. All-wheel drive is the better value, the better resale. More people want that in terms of resale, but of course there's a lot of people that just want the cheaper vehicle as well with the rear wheel drive. So really that's like the quick synopsis between the two of them to see which one actually makes sense. Now, of course, there's plenty of colors out there right now. The only color that is free is stealth gray. Everything else you're gonna have to pay a little bit more. So $1,000 for the white and the blue, $1,500 for the brand new diamond black color, $2,000 for the ultra red and the quicksilver color. Rims, you could do the 19-inch or the 20-inch. If you're looking for range and comfort, then I would say go for the 19-inch. If you're just looking for 20-inch stylistic ability, then you could pay the $2,000, but in my opinion, maybe not worth it at all. I would just save your money at that point. Tow hitch, hopefully that is an easy one. If you need it, you need it. If you don't, you don't. White interior versus black interior. I've always really liked the white interior of the Tesla vehicles, and this Model Y that we have now, the launch series, has the white interior, and it's our first one, and I would say I really like it, and it is not too much of a worry. Like, you might think that if you have kids or stains or whatever, you can get the interior ceramic coated and it will protect the interior. If you're still worried, then I mean, you could go with a black interior just to be extra safe and everything. Full self-driving, I would say, isn't actually a beneficial feature, but only if you drive about an hour to an hour and 30 minutes every single day round trip. Then you might be able to see some big benefits with full self-driving, but it is $8,000. And so you really have to see some ROI on there. And if you were to ask me like a couple years ago, I was not a big fan of full self-driving at $8,000. And still, like maybe I'm still on the fence. If you're someone that drives like an hour to two every single day, then I could see it having some immediate ROI, or at least maybe return on just less effort when you're driving. But there is a $100 subscription that you can sign up for with Tesla in the back end afterwards. So you don't have to worry about paying this big $8,000. You could just do the subscription of $100. But of course, like renting versus owning it, to give you the quick TLDR on that, actually full self-driving is worth about $2,000 in used car value when you go to sell it, like 5, 6, maybe 10 or whatever down the line it may be with the Tesla Model Y. Now, going to charging, of course, you could buy one directly from Tesla, or you could get it on like Facebook Marketplace. There's plenty of resources, or even aftermarket, or there's installers out there, especially in like California, that stock these chargers in. Our good one, just a quick plug, is our good friend Mario, who is actually a Tesla authorized installer in the Southern California area. He's very well versed in all the different incentives. He's Tesla authorized, so he has the chargers on hand. And if you go with him, because he's Tesla authorized, you get a 4-year warranty. So definitely hit up Smart Plug EV and ask for the Dennis deal so that he can hook you up and know where you came from. And so that's quickly the TLDR on Model Y in terms of all the different options and everything. What I would do, since I've already owned one, I went Quicksilver, but that was because we got the launch series. If I were to do it again, I think I would go Diamond Black with the 19-inch rims because I like longevity of range and comfortness. I would go with the white interior again. And full self-driving is a tough one. I would probably do with like a full self-driving transfer method, which we're certainly is possible. If you're interested in figuring out how to do that, definitely send me a DM. And wall charger, I would go with Smart Plug. We already have one at our house and everything. And so that's what I would do. The big question is, would I go all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive? And that really gets into like future proofing of the future. Like, how long am I actually going to be keeping this vehicle? Like, is it going to be something I'm just going to be driving for like a year or two, or am I going to drive for and keep for like 4 to 5 years? I think if I'm going to be keeping it long term, like certainly at this point we've done a bunch of different Teslas, and our Model X we've had for almost 2 years now. I think we need like one stable vehicle at all times. So the question is the Model X going to be the stable vehicle? Maybe not. Maybe it's time to sell it before that warranty ends, because I think it actually is ending soon, and it might be replaced with like a Model Y rear wheel drive that will be long term, because that makes the most sense. We're in California and we do not need the all-wheel drive. So certainly. And so that gets into like incentives and timing. So right now it is May. And so May is the second month of this second quarter. And Tesla just released this 1.99% financing rate if you go ahead and put the right amount down. And so the question is, when is that going to end? There really is no end date in sight. It could go all the way into the end of this quarter. But if you're someone that needs to finance the vehicle or wants to finance the vehicle, then certainly all-wheel drive with that term of 72 months at 1.99 certainly would make a lot of sense. And so one thing is for sure, after we get into this next part with all-wheel drives are actually starting to get into inventory, which we're already seeing so far, we could get into a position as we get into the end of this month or even end of the quarter where we might see some inventory discounts. We already see a couple of these trickle in, like $450, $500 off, which I don't think is too much, but certainly it's a nice to have if you're buying a vehicle already. But once we get into like the $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, that gets into a bigger question, because maybe we might start to see some like Quicksilvers or Ultra Reds that are discounted $2,000 to $3,000, which basically means that like the paint color is essentially free. Some other tips talking about like the Model Y lease, and really the lease isn't necessarily a good deal unless you do not qualify for the $7,500 federal tax credit. But here's some of the math on the lease. We went into the back end and really looked at what's like the residual value and everything. So here's a quick example of a rear-wheel drive that's a base one, $399 a month, MSRP $45,000, tax credit $7,500, down payment $299 or $3,000, with an adjusted cap cost of $34,491. Lease of $399 a month with that much due at signing. You can see the residual, like what the payment is or the amount due at the end of the 3-year term, is $31,000. So I'm not sure the math is math in there, because you're putting a lot of money down here, and then that's your start price essentially, and then you still have to buy it for $31,000. And so that's really why this lease probably doesn't make a lot of sense sense unless you're someone that needs to lease because of the 7,500 federal tax credit. And this is probably because the interest rates on the lease are pretty hefty. Rear-wheel drive is 9.53 and all-wheel drive is 10.32%. And the last thing with all of this is you might, if you've got a Model Y currently, like 2021, maybe 2022, there is a $2,000 loyalty offer that Tesla seems to be sending out to select Model Y owners. I would imagine if you're someone that owns this vehicle, you might be able to go into a Tesla store or call Tesla and try and request your own $2,000 offer, but you cannot stack this on, or you cannot add it to the rear-wheel drive, and you cannot stack it with the 1.99% financing offer. And so the question is, when will the 1.99% financing offer come out for rear-wheel drive? My best guess is going to be June or even July at this point. And so really, if you're going to be financing, the all-wheel drive is going to be the better value at the end of the day if between the two of them, because of how the interest rate at 1.99 is very good and very fantastic. And the next step after that is if you buy your Tesla Model Y and you want to get some nice Unplugged Performance rims, Unplugged Performance does have a trade-in program right now where you can sell your OEM wheels, tires, and wheels to Unplugged Performance, and they will give you a credit, a $1,000 credit or rebate with the purchase of your brand new performance rims from them, or wheels from them as well. So definitely check out. We've got a set of UP05s in titanium silver, and they look super fantastic. The last thing with all of this is there is a little bit of a workaround right now with credit cards and down payments. It seems in theory it should work. And the reason why I'm bringing this up now is that because the credit card that we've been, talking about, that I actually just signed up as well, Chase Sapphire Preferred, which is doing a historical high of 100,000 bonus points, is ending in 5 days. This offer for you to get 100,000 points is going away. And so if you are able to stack this with buying like maybe a couple different hundreds of Tesla gift cards, because in the terms of service, it does say that you can use it on a new car purchase. And so certainly it might be, so right here it says service payments or a new vehicle, then you might be able to stack both of those offers together to get you to that sign-on bonus. And if you're looking for the link of that Chase credit card, definitely check it out. Link down below in the description so you can take a look and sign up quickly before it disappears in about 5 days from now. But let us know what your thoughts are. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know if I missed anything with our ultimate Model Y buying guide. If you're planning on financing your Tesla, then there's one thing you need to do before you even apply: protect your credit. Seriously, because here's the wildest part. Bank of America just had a data breach recently, and they didn't even tell customers for a month. That means your social, your phone number, and your email could have already been out there, and you'd have no clue. Most companies wait on average of 277 days to report a breach. That's 9 months where your identity is exposed and you're the last to know. That's why I use Aura, today's sponsor. Aura constantly scans the dark web and lets me know if anything tied to me shows up: my social, bank info, or any of my personal information. And that's not just for breaches. There's so many different tools I use with Aura. Want to reduce those pesky spam calls? Aura's got it. Want to remove your data like your addresses, phone numbers from those sketchy broker sites? Aura has that too. They will also include $5 million in identity theft insurance, and everything's packed into one clean app. You can try it free for 14 days at aura.com/DennisCW. I'll put that in the description as well. Don't wait until someone else tells you your data is at risk. That's like turning on Sentry mode after your car got keyed. Protect your credit before you apply. I'm doing it, and you should too.